Before starting this video, I would like to give a disclaimer that whatever I'm going to share into this video has actually worked for me, but it can also contradict the general views which people have related to learning a language. So I would say that first watch the entire video and also give me some watch time. To begin with, learning German or any other language is a huge pin in the I mean, it's very painful. Just imagine opening a book and staring at words which make absolutely no sense to you. It's like your brain immediately starts the fight and flight mode, and I think the flight mode is more dominant in most of the people. Now, it's kind of different for people who have the whole day for learning a language, and I know such kind of people, and that's a good thing. But if you're a working professional or studying, then it's kind of gets difficult for you to attend the lectures as well as um, attend the classes as well as practice the German. But for you guys, I would say that what you can do is you can practice German in the morning before going to like your work or university. Now I was also able to follow the schedule just for a few days because I'm not a morning person. So what I used to do is after completing all my studies like the other subjects, I used to practice at night. But I did this only because I had to appear for a German exam here at my university, so that was my motivation. Now again, if you are a working professional or a university student, you might get tired after working the whole day or studying the whole day. So the chances of your flight mode getting switched on are immensely high. So you decide what works for you. Now the next part is where I would like to create a little bit of controversy. You might have had come across advices like watch movies or TV series in German. If you are a beginner, then watching movies or TV series in German is simply a waste of time. It's bullshit. If you are on B1 level, you will understand a lot of things. If you are on A2 level, you might understand a few things. But if you are on A1 level, it's of no use. Now I have reached up to a level where I need to watch more and more movies in German because whenever I go to a supermarket or something, I'm mostly conversing a little bit of German. So most of the people also understand what I'm speaking. But it's usual that when they reply back, I don't understand anything. But in most of the cases, I have observed that whenever they use some words which I'm familiar with, then I'm able to understand what they are speaking. Now, I would like to read an excerpt from the book, The 50th Law. It's an amazing book which is written by Robert Greene and 50 Cent. Robert Greene is an author and 50 Cent is an American rapper. So the book is basically based on his life story. Understand, the real secret, the real formula for power in this world lies in accepting the ugly reality that learning requires a process, and this in turn demands patience and the ability to endure drudge work. It is not sexy or seductive at first glance, but this truth is based on something real and substantial, an age old wisdom that will never be overturned. The key is the level of your desire. If you are really after power and mastery, then you will absorb this idea deeply and engrave it in your mind. There are no shortcuts. You will distrust anything that is fast and easy. You will be able to endure the initial months of dull, repetitive labor because you have an overall goal. This will prevent you from short circuiting, knowing many things but mastering none of them. In the end, what you really will be doing is mastering yourself, your impatience, your fear of boredom and empty time, your need for constant fun and amusement. Now, this last line hits me the most, your need for constant fun and amusement. Although this line is used in a different context here, we can still apply this. Entertainment cannot help you to learn a language if you are still a beginner. You know, if you are just have started to learn a language, and that is my point. As I said earlier, if you are familiar with a word and also its meaning, and if someone uses it, then you won't face any problems in understanding it. So yeah, it works out. If your vocabulary is already weak and instead of improving that you jump onto watching a 2 to 3 hour movie, then that, my friend, is simply a waste of time. I mean, like, you already have limited time if you are a working professional or a student. So what you need to do is to use your time as efficiently as possible. I would say that 80% or maybe 90% of your time should be used on reading and solving the questions in the book, like whichever you're using, and the remaining 10% of the time you might use to watch movies. There is yet another excerpt which I would like to read from the same book, The 50th Law. It actually inspired me a lot. It might inspire you as well. As children learning language, we all undergo the same process. At first, we experience a level of frustration. We have desires and needs we wish to express, but we lack the words. Slowly, we pick up phrases and absorb patterns of speech. We accumulate vocabulary word by word. Some of this is tedious, but we are impelled by our intense curiosity and hunger for knowledge. At a certain point, we attain a level of fluency in which we can communicate as fast as we think. Soon we don't have to think at all. Words come naturally, and at times when we are inspired, they flow out of us in ways we cannot even explain. Learning a language, our own or a foreign one, involves a process that cannot be avoided. There are no shortcuts. Learning language sets the pattern for all human activities, purely intellectual or physical. To master a musical instrument or a game, we begin at the lowest level of competence. The game seems boring as we have to learn the rules and play on a simple level. As with learning language, we feel frustrated. We see others play well and we imagine how that could feel. But we are locked in this mode of tedious practice and repetition. At such a point, we either give up into our frustration and give up the process, or we proceed, intuiting the power that lies just around the corner. Slowly, our ability rises and the frustration lowers. We don't need to think so much. We are surprised by fluency and connections that come to us in a flash. And I know that there still would be some people who would argue that movies and TV series help. Like we are able to understand a few words or we are able to pick up few words. But if you would observe closely, you would notice that you are able to understand those words because you know them. You're familiar with their meaning. But if you come across a word which you are not familiar with, no matter even if you hear that hundreds of times, you won't be able to understand it. And let me make it clear here, I'm talking about the movies and that kind of stuff, and not about the recordings which you get with the books in these CDs for the hearing part. Those recordings are actually designed to match the vocabulary you have, but movies aren't. There's a small exercise which I would like to share with you. I used to do that. So in that, like, what you can do is, it's just for fun. Whenever you have completed a chapter or a topic, you can write something related to it and post it as a status on WhatsApp. Don't cheat yourself. Don't use Google Translation, and because you're doing this for yourself and not to impress anyone. Like, there are so many people who can speak much better German than you. Just look at the Germans. You can start by posting a single word and then jump to forming simple sentences and then to complex sentences. I think this video also went quite long. I don't know. Like, when I started recording, it was day. Now it's dark. Lastly, if you watched till here, I would like to share a video of mine which I recorded when I was preparing for the oral exam, a German oral exam here at my university. In the video, you might see that I stammer a lot and also that my pronunciation is not perfect. And there might be many people watching this video who speak much better German than me. But I would say that you need not be perfect. What matters is progress and not perfection. I've realized that preparing for this oral exam and all that stuff, I have progressed a lot in my German, and I think that I would continue doing so. And same for you, just like give 6 months to 1 year and be consistent in that. Like, I haven't practiced German since 2 months because of my exams. So it might happen to you as well. Like, if you are working professional, then you might have to complete a target of your company, so you won't be able to give it that much time. So we need to be practical here, and the people who have like the whole day to learn German, they would be always ahead of you, because the more time you give, the more progress you would make. And there's another tip which I would like to give you is here, that marks don't matter, so don't worry too much about them. What matters is progress. I've seen like 27 years old discussing like they scored like around 96 in A111, and I was like, shut the fuck off, man. Focus on yourself, focus on your own progress, focus on being consistent, because consistency is the key. And after like 6 months to a year, you would notice a hell lot of improvements in your language skills. And I think that would be the right time to watch a German movie, because at that time you would be amazed that you understand everything. That happened to me. See you in the next video. Bye.